The first 1x16 drivetrain, the ultimate flying camera to capture your rides, and Legos on bikes because this is the new hotness. Welcome back everybody to the new hotness, your favorite weekly update of all things alternative cycling. Still on Instagram, so you don't have to be. This episode is brought to you by Cycle Limited, an awesome place by certified pre-owned bikes because used is the new in today's economy. So let's get into it. The first thing I want to take a look at is a new product put out by Yellowbird Threadworks. They make some of the coolest looking stem caps you'll ever see or can buy on your bike. Some of them have like this cool antiqued brass look to it. Others are these etched geometric patterns. Definitely some really cool stuff. He also makes artisanal bar end caps for your drop bars. But his latest new drop is this one. I believe this is a collab with Philip from Cute Bikes. And it's a stem cap that has 4 little nubbins so you can put your Legos on there. That's right, we are finally seeing the synergy of Legos and bikes. This is pretty cool for your kid's bike, or if you're a child at heart, you can put little figurines or even build, small little micro sets onto your bike. This is called the Brick Buddy, and I'm pretty sure this is going to sell out pretty quickly, and this might spark more Lego/bike collabs in the future. The next one is an update from a few weeks ago. This is from a Japanese component manufacturer, Toxic Works, and here you can see better pictures of the finished products. So you have this tubular rack here that is attached to this support. And what's unique about the support is that it clamps onto the head tube and the down tube of almost any bike. I mean, it's got probably be a steel bike. You don't want to do this with a carbon bike. And it's got to have round tubing. But looking at it, there is some adjustability to get the rack or the platform nice and level. And then you can bolt on or C-clamp this rack onto it. I think this is pretty cool, especially for a mini velo where you can get the load nice and low, as opposed to a fork rack mounted option, something like the Crust Clydesdale fork, which does let you carry a load, but it's on the wheel and it's kind of flopping all over the place. This way you can turn your mini velo or probably your even like regular velo more into a Brompton where the weight is supported by the frame. This next one is a bit random. It is from a YouTube channel called Joss and Plain Air. He's an artist that pedals around with a French easel, and this totally speaks to my heart. I feel like in a couple more decades, when I'm tired of this whole YouTube thing, I'm just gonna run away with the circus with my French easel and go painting along the countryside. So here you can see him setting up. It looks like just your typical Dutch bike, big herky front rack. And he's got the full-on French easel. Props to him because those things are not very light. I've got a half French easel, and I'm a little bit loath to carry it on bike. But if you live in someplace a little bit flatter, then this would work out. Here he's painting a cool little scene on the bike path. He is like a legit painter. His art's really great, very fun, expressive, vibrant. You can get a little close-up here. And at the end of each video, he just straps the painting to the French easel and pedals away. So it's that cool intersection of bikes and art. Definitely go subscribe to his channel. It is, once again, Joss and Plain Air. Next thing that caught my eye on Instagram is this one, Yellow Cat Industries. There's something about yellow in the air today. And the bag in particular are these little small looking like mini Paradise handlebar bags. I love this format for a bike bag, and this one is just like a tinier, tinier version. Here you can see the bag mounted to a bike. It says a kitty pouch fits snugly between old school narrow bars, but lots of room on the more modern, wider adventure drop bars as well. Looking at the attachment points, it looks like there is a sewn-in either like plastic stiffener in lieu of like a dowel or something, and just using simple belay straps. But this gives you the size. I imagine these are like 38s or 40 millimeter handlebars. The bag is definitely on the smaller side of things, which is completely fine. Sometimes you don't need to carry a full-on bike packing ready bag with you. So cool. If you guys want to support another small maker, I'm not quite actually sure where Gregory is based out of. Clicking through the About page, and there isn't a There isn't a location. I'm assuming it's somewhere stateside. No location, but wherever 970 area code is it's Yellow Cat Industries. So bikes are super expensive these days. That's why I'm stoked that we have Cycle Limited as the sponsor for today's video. They sell certified pre-owned used bikes, all your typical categories. You guys know I'm a big fan of gravel bikes. So let's see what they've got in stock in my size, which would be somewhere between a small or a medium. One of the bikes that jumps out right away is this Salsa Cutthroat C carbon, I believe, Apex 1 gravel bike. Cutthroat was originally designed for bike packing in mind, but like when we did Dirty Kansas, that's what it was called back in 2016. We rode our Cutthroats, had the wider tires, which are on trend now. Just throwing it out there. But here you can get a complete for about 1,800 euros, just under $2,000, which is pretty good in today's money. I believe the frame set costs just that. It's not the blingiest build, Apex 1, but for the price, you've got some margins. You can upgrade the components if you want. One cool thing about getting the bike through Cycle Limited is that they take unique photos of each bike. These aren't stock photos. These are the photos of the bike that you're buying. So you can see all the little nicks and the blemishes, the modifications that the user would have made. But before it comes to you, it gets looked over by their mechanics. It gets pre-certified. So you can have about as new of a new bike day as you can while saving a ton of money. And that's only one of the cool gravel bikes in my size as we speak this week. I think another good buy would be the Salsa War Road. Love this bike. When I reviewed it, it's in this cool kind of electric teal colorway, Ultegra, and just a hair over 2,000 euro. So definitely lots of bang for your buck on Cycle Limited. All right, let's talk about some new hotness that is here in the studio. And one of them is the new Ritchie Bigfoot pedal. And this is a pretty nice pedal. It's composite. It's got 9 alloy pins. And what's unique about it is that it has a pretty generous platform, even when compared to the EC Thumps here. When you place the platforms, the usable platforms on top of each other, the Ritchie pedal is about almost 1.5 centimeters longer in this direction, and it's about 1 centimeter wider in this direction. So if you want more platform in your platform pedals, then this is one to check out. But this is another flat pedal to keep in mind when you're building up your new build. I will say in terms of weight, not that this is going to matter a whole lot. These actually weigh about 10 grams lighter than the EC Thumps. So there you go. So the next thing that I flew into the studio for review is the Hover Air X Pro X1 Pro Max. If I can focus, there you go. You guys have probably seen videos of this by now. And it's one of those things where, when you watch videos, you're probably wondering, is it really as good as people say? I took this out for the first kind of ride and test flights the other day, and I am absolutely blown away and super impressed by this thing. That's coming from someone that has owned many drones. I used to have a drone license when we lived in the States to do filming projects. This, I think, in terms of ease of use and the quality for, not having a lot of fuss, this has a lot of bang for buck, even more so than the DJI drones I've tried in the past. It's not a full-on review, but this is a piece of kit that is new to me. They recently did some cool firmware upgrades to it. They added this feature called Copilot, which allows you to adjust the settings on the fly with this little beacon thing here that you can have on your handlebar. We live in some amazing times, and this is an amazing piece of kit. Be sure to stay tuned on a longer-term review. All right, back to the internet. This was an interesting video that crossed my path. And basically, it's a 3D printed integrated mount thing. So you can put your watch or your Garmin, so you can put it on your integrated bars so it looks more integrated, I guess. Kind of a novel idea, great place to extend the use of your sports watch. I think it's hilarious that's this integrated thing on top of an integrated thing. I think an interesting application of this would actually be to make a integrated-ish looking thing that you would put on a separate bar stem combination. So you can have the look, you can have the aesthetics with none of the pain of the ass of integrated bars. Another thing that filtered through on Instagram was this account Pimp Velo, mostly vintagey 90s, 80s mountain bikes. You know, all the regular things, alt bars, baskets, things that we like. This really caught my eye though, and it is the frame rack, frame basket thing. I didn't know that was a thing. I don't even know if this is bike specific because the way it's mounted is with zip ties, I guess. I mean, I'm assuming it's from some other industry or some other use, and it just so happens to fit inside the bicycle frame. Or I don't know, this could be the next thing. Maybe basket packing is gonna extend into the frame. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let's talk about the big elephant in the room here, Classified Cycling along with TRP. Released this Vistar PowerShift classified thing. I'm calling it the world's first 1x15 and 1x16 set. I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like, you know, if you gotta lead into that kind of disingenuity to capture attention. What's funny is on the TRP site and not that YouTube video, they really don't lean into that aspect of it as much because they probably know it's kind of a BS framing. But again, still like a pretty expensive system. I'm assuming this is $250 for the right and the left, so $500 for the shifters, $400 rear derailleur, you know, $200 cassette, cranks, you can probably source something else. $70 bar in unit, just so that all the electronics talk with each other. Then there's a wheel set, you know, $900 or $900. Or you could just get the hub, I guess, for $900 and then build wheels around it. And you do need the $165 through axle thing that communicates with the whole system. All that to say, this is a very expensive front derailleur replacement. But back to the whole like 1x15 and 1x16 thing, this isn't new, right? Like Shimano has had synchro shift. This is an article from 2015. Flow mountain bike where they were doing something exactly the same, synchro shift, kind of seamless shifting up and down without shifting the front derailleur, and they were getting 1x15 back then. So again, I feel like this is a little bit of a stretch to say it's the world's first 1x15, 1x16 group set. When it's not even that, it's just marketing lies. One last thing I want to share with you guys. You guys know I'm a big fan of like barefoot, foot-shaped or my foot-shaped, wider toe-shaped shoes for biking and for life. The folks at Strong Feet Athletics actually pointed me to this company, which is actually really nice of them. So it's a brand called Splay, and they make foot-shaped shoes. Wide foot shaped shoes. I know someone's already typing, my foot shape is narrow. You can't use the phrase foot shaped. It's not my foot shape, so I'm going to complain on the internet. They have really cool like contemporary designs. So they got shoes that look kind of like Vans, like Chucks, just some basic trainers. And one cool thing about Splay is that it doesn't cost like a ton of money. Like these are coming up for like 68 euro, so you're looking about maybe 70, 80 bucks in the States. You know, Lems, I love them, but they are so dang expensive these days. This is a cool, like more casual option. It sounds like they have some interest in developing shoes for the BMX market, the skate market, active sports. We're trying to plant the seed that they should make some gravel specific bike packing shoes, maybe in the skater van style, but with like a wider toe box. You know, let me know what you guys think. If you think this is a good idea, you know, definitely ping them on Instagram and tell them that you saw and tell them you learned about them from this channel. Maybe they'll be more motivated to make a cycling specific shoe that looks cool, is a wider foot shaped if that's your specific shape, and doesn't cost a ton of money. Hey guys, real talk for a second. If you guys have been enjoying the videos on the channel, if you've been enjoying the content over the years, if you like this series, be sure to subscribe. That's the easiest free way to do it. Or you can step up to the next level, join us on Patreon. We also turned on YouTube memberships. If you don't want to set up a whole separate account, you're going to get access to some of the same content we've been doing with our Patreon supporters for the last couple of years. Or stop by the merch store. You know, we've got some stickers and patches that are selling from La Chouette in Paris. Every little bit helps. You know, we're not like living a baller lifestyle. You know, we're enough to live on. So consider supporting the channel. And speaking of supporting the channel, thanks to the folks over at Cycle Limited. If you're in the market for a new bike to you, but don't want to spend that new bike money, then definitely check out their website. As always, everybody, keep the supple side down.